Thursday, the 18th of August, 2022, and I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We're going at about 6.3 knots on motor, as the sea state is pretty calm. We're about a little over 1,500 miles into the journey with a little over 1,000 miles left to go. Reg let me know this morning that we hit the turning point that we were aiming for, which is about 1,000 miles east of Bermuda. Our new heading right now is 330 degrees approximately on the compass. The GPS on the boat shows we're about halfway. Last night, great sailing. The winds were only tops 11, 12 knots, maybe 13 at times, but I had the boat going up to 8.5 knots, peak, not sustained. Sustained was like around 6 to 7 knots. Got lots and lots of awesome footage over this trip. Full arch rainbows, double rainbows, little nugget rainbows in the sky, circular rainbows around the sun, whales, there were dolphins, there were jellyfish, there's flying fish landing on the deck, mahi caught on the hook, you name it, there's so many different things. I might cast a line in today, it's sort of a mild day. Fishing line in the water. So a line gets pulled out of this drum right here. You can see the line wound up, the line is pulled, furler drum rotates the sail on this long shaft, furling the sail, pulling the sail down into this kind of U-shaped boom. You can see all the way back. That's what the sail looks like inside the boom. Little tension has to be kept on this main halyard, which goes all the way up and attaches into this main sail at the head over there. Yeah. This 1980 47-foot Swan SS also has been retrofitted with a second foresail, so it's a cutter rig now. They're both furler foresails. The frontmost sail is a Genoa on a roller furler, and the staysail, as it's called, is also on a roller furler. They have these access ports for diesel as well as fresh water and waste on the deck. Here's the anchor. It's a special anchor that has a little pivot point in the middle of the anchor, connected with a long length of chain that is then comes back to this winch-looking device. It's not a winch, it's called a windlass. And if you look carefully, the chain is kind of wraps around the neck of the windlass, and then it will get deposited inside here and then goes down into the bow. At the bow, on the pulpit, there is a red light on the port side and then a green light on the starboard side. Those lights tell boats oncoming which side of your boat is moving toward them. Lots of winches on this boat. Don't let that intimidate you. The basic winches are all the same. There's one that has the handle in it, and there's one right behind it. That's the main winch that you're going to use to sheet in and out the jib sails. So every line on this boat basically has a dedicated winch, which is actually kind of nice. The structure of the gooseneck is the same on a 47-foot boat versus a 24-foot J24. Just a single pin, that's the gooseneck pin. Is the gooseneck pin tight? Put on a little boom bang. A boom bang is also on a boat like this, except this boat has piston system. But what's interesting is, even though there is a pin system where you have to pin and lock it, I guess that helps deal with all the pressure that's put on a boat like this size, but it has the same kind of cam cleat that we're so used to on the J24s and the J80s at HRCS. Spinnaker pole stowed on the deck, so it has jaws on just one end, you can see that, and then it's telescoping, so this goes out and it becomes longer, which is kind of cool. And the pin end that doesn't have the jaws attaches to the mast right here with this piece of hardware. An example of neatly stowed lines. There's two cleating mechanisms. So there's your good old-fashioned horn cleat, and then you have for safety where you can pull a line through the clutch and open and close the clutch to help lock it. That whole track right here, from here all the way aft, is all the fairlead for the Genoa. So you can move that car, the head sail car, all the way forward. If you're sailing downwind and you really want to catch all the wind, you can move it back, all the way back in higher winds, and you can do anything in between. There's a second fairlead to the left, which you could use just in the same way, really, as the main fairlead, except this longer fairlead gives you more angles. The staysail has its own fairlead up on the bow, right next to the mast. Here's the mast, and then here's the fairlead for the staysail, which goes up to the staysail. The Genoa has sheets that go from the Genoa all the way back, big, thick, 1-inch diameter blue sheets, through the fairlead, and then through that big, beefy block system, and then it comes forward to around the winch. And there's this little platform on this boat in front of the cockpit right here that has like some kind of wood or corking floor where the jib trimmer sits. The cockpit is where that main trimmer / tactician and driver sit. To prevent an accidental jibe, you have a line that's run from a cleat through a block up to the base of the boom, and the line wraps around there a couple times and then goes down to the other side of the boat in the same way, fastened. And additionally, we have a line that's connected to the aftmost part of the boom, and then down on this boat, the tow rail is made out of aluminum. It's very sturdy, and it has these portholes in it so that water, if water gets on the deck, it can just wash right out. Every once in a while there'll be a wider one where you can use to attach lines and that sort of thing. Dodgers are tent-like structures that are put on top of the companionway openings to help prevent rain from getting in and to provide shade and shelter. A bimini is an additional kind of canopy structure that just covers the top. There's nothing in front or behind. That gives you additional shelter from sun and from rain in the cockpit. This boat is fitted with these solar panels on top of the cockpit, plus a wind generator and a radar are all in the back of the boat. They help with navigation and power our devices. Some would argue that an autopilot is an essential piece of equipment. Alternatively, you can use something called a wind vane. Wind hits that fin up there, that's his monitor, and that controls an axle, which that rudder in the back there goes into the water, and that axle turns the rudder, and then the pressure of the water against the rudder controls a pulley system, which is connected into the cockpit to the steering. It's kind of exciting. We've got two ships in the distance. They're both about 10 miles away. The one at 270 degrees over that way is a cruise ship, and the one at 330 degrees over that way is a tanker of sorts. Cirrus, which may mean more wind. You can see in the distance we've got stratus clouds all the way in the distance, those blanketing clouds. There's cumulus clouds before that, and then stratus clouds behind it, the blanketing clouds, which may mean rain or weather. There's a nice big cumulonimbus cloud right there, towering with an anvil. Cumulonimbus cloud right here. You can see it is certainly towering, and it's got little anvils sticking out of the sides. Real basic but delicious fusilli pasta with the salt and a little olive oil, Swiss cheese, fresh garlic, and a poached egg on top with a little tomato sauce. Yum, yum, yum. Comfort food. It's completely sea state is really calm. As we head north, it's going to be calm for another 2 or 3 days. We'll be motoring. Hopefully we'll have enough fuel, and then probably in about 3 days or so, the wind should be picking back up and we should be able to sail. Another ship in the distance right over there. That's the third ship I'm seeing today. We're going northwest. They must be going west. He's really moving. I'm saying it's me, but it could be a she. Where are they? This is the first sunset we're seeing off the port side of the boat. So far every sunset has been on the starboard side of the boat because we made our turn today. Earlier this morning we made a turn. Instead of heading due west, we're now going northwest toward Nova Scotia. So we're about 2/3 through the trip. Exciting. Beautiful, beautiful sunset. So I'll show you a little more of the sunset. Earlier today I was looking at the clouds and I saw this one towering cumulus cloud. You can see like these towering cumulus clouds in the back. There's this one big poofy one, and I swear it had the eyes of Shiva in it, like the 2 eyes with the dot in the middle with the little snake going down the middle. It was very cool, and as like before I saw it, I had this like Indian sounding rhythm going through my head, and then I looked up and I saw it and I was like, whoa, that was wild. Like this, some kind of Indian spirit is here. The rhythm went something like this. Do, 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 do. I'm standing on the bow of the boat facing aft at night, and this phosphorescence on the wake, the whole wake is just glowing with like phosphorescence. It's so incredibly magical. Or like we're on a ship to Never Never Land, cruising over the phosphorescence. All of the wake is glowing like fireflies. It's so crazy! Mind-blowing.